I could be a superhero. I could fight crime, protect the innocent. Quit for world peace. But first, it's party time. P-A-R-T. Why? Because I gotta.
Did you miss me?
I guess not. Okay. Shoot the door. Shoot the window. Hold on, Dad. Hold on, sugar. Daddy's got a sweet tooth tonight. That's a spicy meatball. Somebody stop me.
Good evening. Welcome to this week's edition of the WayBack Movies Podcast, a show where we review the best and not so best of 80s and 90s cinema, because really, fuck the 2000s. My name is Steve, and with me on this crazy journey,
Jason.
Doctor.
And
we're back, continuing the Jim Carrey January of it all, with, as we were discussing, probably his most successful film of the year, because Jim Carrey had a hell of a 1994.
And through research, successful movie of his career.
Yeah. And when you hear the numbers, it makes sense.
Yep.
But yeah, it is an interesting film with a lot of bit of history to it. So we will get to that pretty much as quick as possible because I have a bunch of notes here, and so yeah.
Jeez, you do.
I do. I have a surprising amount of notes for this movie. Although, mind you, it's not about the movie as much as it's about In Living Color and the Mask comic book.
Because most people could be like, that's a tome.
Yeah. It's not really much about the movie itself. But either way. So let's just jump in the Wayback Machine to July 29th, 1994 for The Mask. Okay, here we are. It's 1994. I'm 12, and I'm terribly excited to see this film. And for the life of me, I was trying to remember. I don't know if I saw this movie in theater or not. I cannot remember.
Like the rest of the films in this list, I saw these all on VHS not too long after this year. I was 6 here, so around like 8 or 9, 10 even. I think I started watching Jim Carrey movies on VHS.
Of the 4 we're covering this month, I know I didn't see the last one, and I know I saw next week's. I don't know if I saw either of these 2 in theaters. I assume I did, but I honestly don't know. But yeah. Pardon me. Might be coming down with something. I apologize. So The Mask, July 29th, 1994, directed by Chuck Russell, a name that we are familiar with here. He directed Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
Was it Chuck or the credits, or is he Charles Russell?
I think it was Chuck. Yeah. I could be wrong, though, but I think it was Chuck.
Everyone calls him Chuck Russell.
Yeah, he was Chuck in Nightmare 3, where it was, which was 1987.
Right.
So I'm guessing. Yeah. But at the same time, at this exact moment, Jim Carrey was also being referred to as James Carrey on television. So I don't know, but we'll get to that in a minute. Screenplay by Mike Werb, story by Michael Fallon and Mark Verheiden, based on The Mask by John Acrudi, Chris Warner, and Doug Menke, produced by Bob Engelman, production company New Line Productions and Dark Horse Entertainment, distributed by New Line Cinema, box office of $351.6 million against a budget of $23 million. That's some fucking money.
That's a spicy meatball.
Yes, that is some legit money. On $23 million.
That's the thing, right?
Man.
They spent nothing.
I'm guessing that they spent some money on advertising because this movie was fucking everywhere.
Yeah,
I would guess max they spent $20 million on marketing. So you're looking at even a budget of $43 million. 351 is a fuck ton of profit.
New Line is very, very happy.
Yes.
There's a reason why he became the $20 million man.
Not too long after this. So cast, of course, Jim Carrey, Stanley Ipkiss / The Mask. Peter Green as Dorian Tyrell. Cameron Diaz introducing, I believe, Tina Carlisle. No, but I think she actually got the credit.
Yeah, I think it said introducing.
Did it say introducing?
I believe so.
It only happens every now and then, but I like when it does. Orestes Matasina is Nico. Peter Reigert as Lieutenant Mitch Calloway. Jim Dugan as Detective Doyle.
Oh. 5 people probably got that.
Yep. Richard Jenney is Charlie Schumacher.
I miss him.
Me too. Poor man. Rest in peace, sir. Amy Yazbek is Peggy Brandt. Jeremy Roberts as Bobby the Bouncer. Black Clark as Murray. And Ben Stein as Dr. Arthur Newman. So, let's talk about Jim Carrey. Or more so, let's just talk about the television series. Jim Carrey was a regular cast member on the ensemble sketch comedy television series In Living Color.
In Living Color.
Yes. Now, the reason that this is all about In Living Color, it's a major aspect of why this movie happened. And when the hell are we ever going to talk about this show? So let's do that.
I mean, maybe if we got to a Damon Wayans bill. Which we will.
We will, but in a world where this is basically the thing that made Jim Carrey a star, whereas Damon Wayans had already started by this point, started movieing.
Roughly.
Is that
what it's known as?
Yes, he's movieing. Running from April 15th, 1990 to May 19th, 1994, created by Keenan Ivory Wayans, airing on the Fox network, which was one of its tentpole shows on the network at the time, along with Married with Children and The Simpsons. Which I can't believe The Simpsons is still fucking running.
Yep.
Like, Jesus, that show started in 1989, and I remember watching the first episode, and that shit is still on. And it gets ridiculous numbers, too. And I don't know anyone who watches it.
Well, I got Disney Plus, so I'm going back into it.
I know one guy who watches it.
I got Disney Plus. I'm going to go into it and see all the 20 years of Simpsons I never watched.
Yeah, you and like most people are like, yeah, I think I could push it to 12 seasons, but that's where I could draw the line. And 12 seasons is most television shows. I can't believe it's still been going on for 20 more fucking years. The title of the series was inspired by the NBC announcement of broadcast being presented in living color during the 1960s, prior to mainstream color television. It also refers to the fact that most of the cast was black, unlike other sketch comedy shows such as Saturday Night Live, whose cast members were mostly white. It was controversial due to the Wayans' decision to portray black humor from the ghetto, at a time when mainstream American tastes regarding black comedy had been set a more upscale shows like The Cosby Show.
Wow!
It was an upscale show. It just turns out the main star was a scumbag.
Interesting how things work out, eh?
Isn't it, though? Causing an eventual feud for control between Fox executives and the Wayans, with all of the Wayans leaving by the end of the 4th season. Along with almost the entirety of the Wayans family, the show also featured future stars such as David Alan Grier, Jamie Foxx, and Jennifer Lopez as part of the dance troupe known as the Fly Girls. And Chris Rock in guest appearances, and of course, James Carrey, which is what he was credited as.
And also, arguably, as a hot take it might be, my favorite sketch show.
You know, I've been
out of all the network ones, I've
been rewatching episodes to prepare for this. I would never go as far as saying that because Kids in the Hall still exists.
Fair,
but it's definitely better than Saturday Night Live.
Yeah. Well, listen, I also like Mr. Show and stuff. And,
True.
And Monty Python's Flying Circus and all that.
But I would actually I would say I enjoy this a little more than both of those.
Yeah.
Because there's something, much like I would say with like Kids in the Hall, and one of the reasons I put Kids in the Hall at the top, with Flying Circus, for instance, there's a lot of stuff you have to wade through to get to the really great stuff. Because there is some stuff that just doesn't...
Well, it's because it's British humor at its dense.
Yeah, it just doesn't work for me, personally.
Yeah.
You know? Whereas this kind of always works.
In Living Color it slayed for 4 years. It
really did.
Homie the Clown. And,
well, I'll get there in a minute.
Okay, I didn't know you were going to...
I'm getting as in depth as I can in the early notes. So
fair enough.
If you want to talk more after, let me finish first. The first episode aired on Sunday, April 15th, 1990, following an episode of Married with Children, which is a hell of a lead-in at that point. The first episode was watched by 22.7 million people, making it the 29th top show for the week.
Damn.
22 million people, almost 23 million people watched this, and it was 29th of the week. Fuck, television has changed.
Cut the cable.
Yeah, really. The series strove to produce comedy with a strong emphasis on modern black subject matter. It became renowned for parody, especially the race relations in the United States. For instance, Carrey was frequently used to ridicule white musicians such as Snow and Vanilla Ice, who performed
two of the best sketches ever
in genres more commonly associated with black people. That is very true. You know, I will put the Vanilla Ice one above the Snow one.
Yeah.
The Snow one is angry. The Snow one is bitter. They're pissed off. The Vanilla
Which
Ice
is
one
funny.
is just, he's a joke.
You know why it's funny? It's funny because Snow is way more authentic than Rip Van Winkle ever was. Rob Van Winkle.
The guy who fell asleep. Rob.
Well, his career fell asleep.
That's true.
Rob Van Winkle. Like, Snow
grew up with this, and
he's Reuben Scarborough.
Yeah, he grew up with
I think he had a white friend. I think
he didn't. And, if you look into his career, he actually had a successful career outside of Canada and the United States in, ironically, he did, record in Jamaica and things like that. Like, he actually was successful.
We view it as ridiculous because we see a white man talking like that.
But he was actually somewhat respected.
Yeah, again, he grew up in those circles.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Can't help his skin color.
Exactly. Like, Snow was talking about getting arrested for, somebody snitching on him. He did.
Yeah,
that happened.
That happened.
Vanilla Ice was talking about shit that didn't happen. He talked about getting stabbed. That didn't happen. That did not happen to that asshole. So it's kind of weird that you look at it and go, that they were so mad, and it's like, but he's telling the truth, whereas the other one who you're just kind of being like, he's a jackass. He was the liar. But either way, I do actually enjoy the whole stop while I do up my laces.
Yeah.
Some of that shit's genius. In the first 4 seasons, the show was known for character-driven sketches, creating many memorable characters. 2 of the biggest characters, arguably, from the show were Homie D. Clown, featuring Damon Wayans as a misanthropic, verbally abusive clown doing demeaning entertainment gigs for a low pay as part of a prison release program, and Fire Marshal Bill, featuring Carrey as an incompetent, dangerously inept fire marshal. I don't think anyone can argue that. Those are
both are
homie
don't play that. And,
yeah,
let me show you something.
Yeah, I think those were probably the 2 most
it's because with the Carrey one, it's just because of the look of Fire Marshal.
Yeah,
Bill. Like, that's almost horrifying to a child.
Yeah.
Because his face is all burned.
His face is all burned. He's all fucked up.
His lips are gone. You just see his teeth, and he's got this weird voice and weird look about him.
I heard in an interview fairly recently that he said basically the only reason a movie never came of it is he couldn't actually do that face for long enough.
No, I couldn't imagine he would.
Yeah, he's like, I can only film that 1 minute
because that's
at a
practical.
time.
That's his face.
That is how he moves.
Like,
his
they
face.
put makeup on him, of course, but the mannerisms and all that was his face. He was doing that.
Yeah, and if you don't know what we're talking about, just look up Fire Marshal Bill on YouTube.
He's rubber-faced, right?
Yeah.
Like, Jim Carrey's rubber-faced.
It is one of the most creepy-looking faces you can make, but yeah, he could not do that. Because not only that, he's pushing out his jaw so the veins in his neck stick out. It is really fucking creepy to look at.
And then you gotta talk.
Yeah. So like he said, he can only do it 1 minute at a time. There was no way he could ever make a movie like that.
No.
Jim Carrey, Tommy Davidson, David Alan Grier, Takea Crystal Kama, and my printer is messed up. Deidre Lang from The Fly Girls are the only cast members who stayed on from the show from its premiere to its finale. Although Carey's appearance became very limited due to his rising movie career, i.e. this year. So he filmed all of these movies in 1993 to 94, and that was when the final season was happening. So I think he was on 4 episodes of that season because he's a little busy.
Busy making all of the money.
Yeah, so that was in living color. I didn't get too in depth into it, but I just love that show. I just think it was really good. A lot of the people that, even the ones I didn't mention, are actually really good on it.
The Dozens.
Dozens is great. They still make me laugh. I still love the episode where he ends up facing Ed O'Neill.
Yeah.
He pretty much just looks like Al Bundy. And Jamie Foxx making mama jokes at Al Bundy. It's one of the greatest fucking things you'll ever see.
Again, I'll argue that The Dozens is a better sketch than Celebrity Jeopardy.
Oh, laughs per capita, you're probably right.
Yeah.
I love Celebrity Jeopardy.
Because there's a lot of misses in Celebrity Jeopardy.
There really is. But
because that sketch only has so much juice in it, you get so much out of it. But with Dozens, there's a billion mama jokes.
They did repeat themselves a bunch. Like, if you watch them back to back, as I did fairly recently, they repeat themselves a lot because I guess there is only so many that the writers could come up with. But all in all, the thing about the Jeopardy one is that you're mostly laughing at the character, whereas this one you're just laughing at the actual jokes more so.
Which is, I think, I care more about the quality of what is being spoken, whether that person kind of sounds like Burt Reynolds or kind of looks like Sean Connery.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I do recommend, most of the show is on YouTube.